phone, 2, a good negotiator, 3, an incredibly reliable guide to where your boss is going to be coming from. And if none of that, if one of those is damaged, and it obviously was damaged by this, you think, well, there's no point in carrying on doing 100 hours a week work in circumstances where my colleagues think, he's being undermined by his own side.
More generally, a leak leaves you feeling that your system isn't working because you know that in an ideal fantasy world there should be no leaks. You tend not to find your personal relationships impacted if you're not a direct victim, because you assume that your team are not responsible for this. I have never had a suspicion about any of my staff leaking something, and I think that judgment has been right. But you certainly watch what you say in writing in future. I would make the point, though, that I think for most British diplomats, most of the time, leaks have less impact than the requirements of our democracy for freedom of information, which has had a powerfully cooling effect on the frankness of diplomatic reporting.
Can I have one brief comment on that? I recall when I was in Paris, after the WikiLeaks revelations produced a whole raft of US embassy cables. One former prime minister that I happen to know well just said to me, I'm never going near the US embassy again, because if every conversation that I have with an American diplomat is going to be written down in a cable and then handed to the New York Times, the Washington Post, there's no point in my having that conversation, there's no point in my being remotely indiscreet or telling what I think, so I'm not even going to go back to the building again. So there is an issue, therefore, of the very damaging effect it has on your sources, especially if you name them. Personally, I used to try to avoid naming and